In my last video, I talked about how I learned to code if I were starting in 2025, and today we're putting that plan into action. I'm going to build a complete beginner-friendly Python project with AI as my coding partner, not to replace me, but to work with me. We're going to build something simple but useful, a random password generator. It uses variables, loops, and logic, but it's short enough to build in under 10 minutes. So let's see what AI gets right and what I still need to figure out. Before we ask AI anything, we're setting the rules first. I'll let AI explain concepts, give hints, or suggest improvements, but I won't let AI write the entire code for me. This is how you actually learn. So here's what our program needs to do. Ask the user how long they want the password to be, choose random characters, mix letters, numbers, and symbols, print the final password. So that's pretty simple, right? But the logic gives us a lot to learn. Okay guys, I have ChatGPT open here. So instead of asking, can you write this code for me? I'm gonna say, can you explain how a Python password generator should work step by step? So let's see what it says. All right, so here's what the AI gave back to me. The first thing it says is to choose what characters you want to use, set the password length, use a secure random generator, randomly pick characters, and it also gave me some optional things that I could do for the project, like including one uppercase, one number, and at least one symbol in the password, and then obviously to output the final password. So this really gives me the structure of my code and helps me think exactly what I need to build, which is important to do before you start coding for every project. Okay guys, so I have my Visual Studio Code open. I've already made a file called Coding with AI. Make sure to add the .py at the end of the file name so it knows that we're using Python. So ChatGPT told us that we need to use the random generator, and that tells me to use the random module, right? So you might recognize this line of code, import random. However, I do know that there's another module called secrets, which may be more beneficial for us if we're coding a password generator. So I'm gonna go back to ChatGPT and ask which module is better. Which module is better? Random or secrets? All right, so it said the better choice is secrets. It also gave us a reason why. So we can see that you can use secrets for passwords or anything that needs to be safe, while random is more for games. So that's perfect, exactly what I was looking for. Let's go ahead and change that to secrets then. All right, so step 1 is complete. Step 2 is to really define those character groups that it told us to do, right? We need to set the letters, the numbers, and the symbols which this computer can choose from when the user asks to generate the password. So let's go ahead and write these lines of code inside. I'm going to say letters equals, and I'm going to put the entire alphabet in here, both lowercase and uppercase as well. All right, I added all of my letters. Now let's do numbers equals, and these are also going to be in quotes, so 0, 1, 2, 3, all the way to 9. And then we'll do symbols. And the question mark, which is at the bottom. You can also add in the greater than, less than sign if you would like, or any other ones you want. So this is a great moment to actually ask AI, is this a good selection of characters, right? And it could suggest maybe adding more symbols or explaining why some characters are avoided. So let's go ahead and ask right here. Is this a good set of characters? All right, it said it's a solid set of characters. And it says extra tips, you could add more symbols like these to make the password even stronger. Let's go ahead and copy that, because the whole point of this is to make sure our password generator is the best it can be, right? And since we're coding here, it doesn't allow us to put some of these in there. So let's take those out. Now let's continue to ask the user for the length of the password, right? So I'm just make a variable called length and we'll input, integer input. And now here's the question, how long should your password be? Okay, so that is what is going to be prompted as soon as we run this program. So if you are unsure about converting input into an integer, you can ask AI, why do we need the int, the int, if you see that in the beginning of this line, around input? And it'll explain that as well. So if you want, I can actually just do that right now. Why do we need int around integer? Or sorry, input. That's what int means. I'm just going to copy this line of code as well, so it knows exactly what we're talking about. Okay, so it says that the reason is because input always returns a string in Python, even if the user types a number. So in this case, the user will type a number, right? We're asking how long the password should be, so they'll say 10 or 6 characters, whatever that number, but it's going to return a string after the user inputs that number. So that's perfect. AI helped answer our question. Okay, moving on. Now let's build the actual password. So I'll just create a variable called password, set it to a empty string here. And now for the loop, for I in range, and we'll have length as the parameter, which is one of the variables we created, if I spelled it right. And we'll have our password variable in here, plus equals secrets.choice, and we would have the letters plus numbers and the symbols. So this line of code really tells the computer that we want to use all these 3 variables, right? Letters, numbers, symbols, which you've created here, and it will use a secrets module and the secrets.choice, which is what ChatGPT was telling us to do earlier, and it'll choose a random one of the letters, numbers, and symbols, combine them together, and it'll spit out the password. That's exactly what we want to do. And again, if this loop is confusing for you, put it into ChatGPT and ask it to break it down slowly. The AI will become your explainer, not your coder, which is the important part. Now let's go ahead, put in a print statement here. Your generated password is, and we'll put in the password variable. So let's say I make a mistake. An example error could be like this. Type error can only concatenate string, not integer to string. So what you could do is just copy that error message into ChatGPT and ask, what does this error mean and how can I fix it? So the AI will walk you through it, explain what you did wrong, and will suggest a fix. So this is where AI shines, right? Not by writing the code, but by explaining why the code broke. And once the basic version works, you can ask AI, how can I make this project better? Let's go ahead and do that right now. So I just copied and pasted all the code in here. How could I make this project better? Okay, so it actually told me to remove this space. That's a tiny fix. Let me do that. It said ensure all character types are included, make the code reusable. So this is actually telling us to create a whole function called generate password. Add input validation, so we can add in an if condition saying if it's less than 8, you can actually tell the user that most passwords should be longer than 8 characters for their own security, right? Shuffle the final password, and optional UX improvement. So this is a little bit more complex. Ask the user what type of characters they want included. Print a message if the password is strong or weak. So those are really cool additional things that we could add for our project, right? And in the beginning, it actually did tell us to use the random modules. So that was something that we changed on our own by asking if random or secrets is better. So good job with that. Now, let's just go ahead and run this program, see if it works. All right, so you can see here that it asks how long should your password be. Let's just go ahead and say 10. And when I clicked enter, you can see that the generated password is that random set of letters, symbols, and numbers, which looks pretty secure. I don't think anyone would be able to guess that. Now let's go ahead and add in a ridiculous number of characters here, like 10,000. Look at that, guys. If you ever need a 10,000 character count of a password, just use your password generator. It's as simple as that. But I'm sure you won't need that many. And that's our first coding project using AI as our partner, not a shortcut. The goal wasn't to get perfect code fast. The goal was to learn the thinking behind the code with AI helping guide the learning process. If you want me to make a part 2, where we build something bigger like a quiz game, a mini website, or even a chatbot, just comment part 2 below. Thanks for watching, and remember, AI can help you learn faster, but your skills come from practice.